Hello everyone and welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Josh, joined as ever by, get this, you are not ready for this at all, a mustachioed Ewan Patterson.
Hello.
Hello Ewan. I've actually got some mad news that you're going to love today. Well, you've mostly got it because I can't really understand it because I'm an old person and I don't understand technology. But apparently, so I've heard, LA Noire 2 might just be a thing. Don't get my hopes up, but what's going on?
It might be a thing, Josh. We got pointed this out to us on Twitter, that then pointed us to a Reddit thread on the actual LA Noire subreddit, and it kind of points to something really juicy and something that we've not really expected, because for all intents and purposes, the LA Noire brand has only been supported over the last few years by, the VR case files. I'm sure you've seen all the memes of Mad Wrong and Cole Phelps just doing dances everywhere because we all dearly loved them. But yeah, this was pointed out on by Reddit user a Dandy Highwayman on the LA Noire subreddit, and that YouTube actually has generated a topic called LA Noire Part 2, and it has a soundtrack listing along with an image of the Rockstar posted on the website the other day. And the video was actually announced by the KTI person. So obviously, if you recall the first LA Noire by Team Bondi, when you were driving around LA, you would have the KTI radio basically going through and having they had all the actual period accurate music coming through that radio too, along with like different news broadcasts or whatever. And this time actually, they're presenting Matthew Wilder's Break My Stride, which released, of course, in 1983. So,
which also is a tune. I want that out there.
It is an absolute tune. It also comes with I Love New York, which was apparently released in 1977. But yes, Josh, I can tell you probably have lots of questions about this. My gut reaction right now is just basically.
Right, you're going to have to walk me through this because, again, as an old person who doesn't understand technology, how valid is this? Because it's shown up on a YouTube playlist. You've explained this to me before, but I don't know whether I'm supposed to get very hyped and expect this to be a real big leak or if it's something accidental that someone might have made up.
Yes, I mean, the accidental part is probably in there. I don't necessarily think it's made up. Basically, YouTube automatically generates topics depending on what kind of things come out. So the example I used to you earlier on Slack was like, say if you had loads of videos about geese, you could have a YouTube channel that was just dedicated to geese, and it would collate loads of different uploads that, came from, that revolved around the topic of geese. In this case, it looks as though what's happened here is that Rockstar have been uploading stuff to do with LA Noire Part 2, and YouTube, unknowingly has generated this topic called LA Noire Part 2, which kind of partially confirms to me that they are at least working on a soundtrack for the game, which in itself is a tacit confirmation that the sequel is probably in development now. This could obviously, it could be a massive mistake. It could be so, it could just be so wrong. But if you actually go and listen to the video yourself, you can find it currently right now. It's not been taken down. You do have the unique KTI broadcast, and if it is, a hoax, it's a very, very good hoax, because it actually has, as people mentioned in the thread on Reddit, is that it actually has Warner's copyright clearance in the thing as well. So it says it's provided to YouTube by Take-Two Interactive, and that's in the description too. So yes, this seems, I'm going to err certainly on the side of caution, but in terms of the kind of leaks we tend to deal with, covering different games or whatever, this definitely feels more substantial than, say, someone dropping in and basically just saying GTA 6 is going to be set in Siberia or whatever.
Which, for all we know, that might be true. There is precedent, though, like you said, not only is the leak itself quite valid, but Rockstar have been tinkering away behind the scenes. You mentioned the new artwork that went live at the very end of February, including the one that's used as the background of the music itself, as well as one with kind of like a gold-plated robot hanging out with some champagne, which is a major vibe. So they're obviously building up to something. And it, honestly, man, like LA Noire 2 was not even on my radar for as much as I wanted to happen. I just didn't ever expect Rockstar to do it. But judging on the way they've actually treated the IP over the past few years especially, it does seem to point towards them working on something. You mentioned the VR case files, which are absolutely mad and spawned all of those amazing memes that were awesome. I want to see that version of Cole Phelps come back as a cameo somehow, or a meme.
But Cole Phelps guiding you through 18th America.
Honestly, right? That needs to be the plot. The ghost of Phelps shouting at people, accusing them of crimes they didn't commit, and then also doing weird dances.
Just going around
nightmare fuel.
Just picking up random bits of tat going, not substantial.
But also there was the LA Noire remaster. I mean, that's quite big. Rockstar, although they remastered Grand Theft Auto 5 for the next gen systems, that was more of an anomaly because obviously that came out at the very end of that console generation, so it made sense for them to update it for the new machines. But they haven't done that for anything else really, especially older games, not a proper remaster. So it seems to me like that was testing the waters for a proper sequel, and hopefully the response was good enough that they finally put this into production, because they own the IP, although it was partnered with Team Bondi at the time. Team Bondi went under, and they didn't own the LA Noire brands. I think Rockstar can, separate from that and make their own version of this game and hopefully make it very good. I don't know what I actually want LA Noire 2 to be, if that makes sense, because for me, the first one is complete. There's a lot of gameplay things I want to see improved on. Obviously, I want to see the interrogations be elaborated on a little bit. In the original game, they were more like adventure puzzles.
I'm lying right now.
Uni, have you got something you're hiding from me there?
Maybe.
I'm in doubt. I'm going to accuse you of this crime where you've gutted a pig or something. I want to see that expanded upon, because although I thought it was fine in the first game, I thought it could be improved by, having multiple outcomes. Say you choose a wrong bit of evidence, that might branch you off rather than, forcing you back or whatever, or making you go down a different route. I don't know, I just think it could be, as good as it was, a bit more elaborate.
Yeah, I completely agree. And to be honest, the most shocking thing about this, and the thing I'm most curious about, is the setting. Now, obviously, when Team Bondi, they weren't always a part of Rockstar. Rockstar chose to publish LA Noire. They went off and, worked on the unfortunately titled Whore of the Orient, which kind of got canned in 2014. But that still seemed to retain, the kind of old classic noir sensibilities of LA Noire. It was going to be set in Shanghai, I believe, either during the late 30s or early 40s. Correct me if I'm wrong. So still very much, that kind of the era of film noir, basically. So moving from that setting to 80s LA potentially is very curious to me. Now, I kind of went on the record the other week saying how I was kind of a little bit bored of all the 80s and 90s nostalgia kind of going on right now, and I really want Rockstar to maybe try something like in the 60s or 70s. I necessarily think, given LA Noire was set in 1947, you could have had so much stuff to go on with the 50s. But again, if you're going to try something completely new and different, by all means, that sounds like a really exciting game. So many great cop shows kind of came about during that decade, and you have so much to work with in terms of, the Cold War being at its most resurgent period, especially kind of around, the early 80s or whatever. So you have all sorts of stuff going on there. And obviously I'm here for all the 80s fashion as well. So I'm looking forward to see how they actually play around with that setting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, the 80s, and I guess moving into the 90s now, has been overdone a little bit, but it's so ripe for, mining great drama and themes from, especially when it comes to kind of cop shows. Like you said, I would like them to trade in sort of the flair and style of the 80s and do something based around, like the Cold War tensions rising and stuff, and having that at the backdrop. At the same time, you mentioned the 70s, just give me a sort of French Connection style video game in the style of LA Noire.
I was going to mention the French Connection. I was also going to mention Mindhunter, because obviously, during the 40s, you have that whole stuff going around where you kind of basically tap into the Black Dahlia while you're on the homicide desk, and there's all sorts of different bits going on around there. By the time we're in the 1980s, criminal profiling has taken on such a massive, it's come on leaps and bounds, really. And I would be curious to see how Rockstar make that game in the 80s when you have so many kind of gruesome stories of serial killers doing the rounds, and how you would incorporate that into the game. And especially, in the California area, there was loads. Obviously, there's the Golden State Killer stuff, which broke the other year. So really, they have so much to play around with in terms of looking at that. And I'm very excited to see how they tackle all these different things. Obviously, I'm getting ahead of myself right now. It might not even be a thing that's happening. But of all the leaks that I have seen over the years with different games, this feels particularly porous.
Well, Ewan, I'm going to go one step further and throw something absolutely mad out there, right? Tomorrow, Sony and Mark Cerny are going to talk about the PlayStation 5. And as far as we know, it's going to be a live broadcast, or at least a recorded broadcast, deep dive of the PlayStation 5 specs. They haven't mentioned games. However, it would be a bit of a win if they had a few games there. And with LA Noire leaking right now, and with the Rockstar artwork changing, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get anyone else's hopes up. But if they had a little ace up their sleeve in the form of LA Noire Part 2, I mean, I think It's the kind of joy that I need right now, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. And to be honest, I know everyone is waiting on GTA 6 and is really looking forward to that game and whatever. I'm definitely more keen to see Rockstar tackle stuff that's outside of GTA, because I certainly think, it might be a controversial take or whatever. My three most favorite Rockstar games aren't GTA games. The Red Dead Redemption, the LA Noire, and the Red Dead Redemption 2. And I've always maintained that I feel as though they do their best work when they take divesting from that scattergun satire approach they have with GTA and actually, being mature and having a proper historical focus on stuff. I always feel as though they tell their best stories there. And I think the most recent Red Dead is a testament to that. So if they feel comfortable diving into the 80s and basically telling a really cool, cop kind of game through that, I'm really excited to see how that pulls out. Maybe you'll be a private eye, maybe you'll be I honestly don't know. It sounds really interesting, and I hope that it actually is a thing that exists. The whole KTI stuff in the video, like I said earlier on, that's the thing that lends it, more legitimacy to me, I think.
Well, yeah, definitely. And like you said there, what I want Rockstar to do going forward, as much as I love GTA and GTA 6 is obviously coming at some point, Rockstar for me was so special because they had all of these different studios working on all these different games. Yeah, they pumped out, regular GTAs and Red Dead Redemptions, but they also had LA Noire, they had Max Payne, they had Rockstar's table tennis of all things. And I feel like that's gone away. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's gone away over the past few years, and I want that to come back, and hopefully LA Noire Part 2, should it be real, will be the next step. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you as excited as me and you are? And are you looking forward to the PlayStation reveal tomorrow? Either way, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. I know this is weird, but we're going to get used to it. And Ewan has a mustache now, which is awesome.
It's a pop-up mustache. I can't try to think of a pun for it. Basically, because no one's near me anymore, that's why I have it.
And on that note, goodbye.
Bye.